Hello and welcome. Now in this video, we want to explore the drawing tool. And so you're looking at your recording toolbar for Camtasia 9. And we're going to just start by clicking the record button. Remember, we get this message because we're actually using two instances of Camtasia. You will not see this warning message. When we click OK, the countdown will begin. Okay, we have Camtasia set to minimize to the toolbar, so we're going to bring this up. And what you're going to notice is that the effects menu comes up. And we've already seen where we can add a marker, but the part that we are going to look at right now is the screen drawing. And of course, if you're using multiple screens, this toolbar would be off to the side, so this would not be showing to your viewer. But this is a fairly useful tool. And what you'll notice is that when you click the screen draw button, the rest of the effects come available. Now what we can do is we can actually choose to use the pen, which we have, and let's see what the pen actually does. One of the things that it does is it draws. Right? And so this probably works extremely well if you have a tablet, but it works very well even if you don't. And you are able to draw lines on your presentation, which again lends to more of the credibility. Now, you don't have, with a mouse, it would be very difficult for you to write like this, but you can draw and you can draw circles. And of course, we're able to do that in the editing process also. We can also explore where we can change the color, right? So we can change it to blue. We can also change the width, so we can make the lines fairly thick. So once again, I mean, you see that we can use each of these effects and we can actually close this effect and do away with it. Now, the way that you would actually cause the writing to go away. So for example, if we were to draw a line around this circle, all we would need to do is to hit the escape key. And then the toolbar closes and the writing goes away. So once again, we decide on the pen we're going to use, and the width, and then when we're tired of writing or we don't want to have it appear on the screen, we can click OK. And actually then we go back to being able to use our mouse. So once again, this drawing feature is a useful tool when you have information on a PowerPoint and sometimes it's less dynamic than you'd like it to be. Well, this is one way of being able to keep your viewers' attention without having to do things with the animation or make your PowerPoint inconsistent. You keep your PowerPoint consistent, and then you use points of emphasis using tools like the Screen Draw program. In this video, we want to discuss some things that you want to do before you hit record, and at the end, you're going to understand why these things are important to do beforehand. And of course, it almost seems that this would be elementary. You want to make sure you have your content ready. If you're going to read it, if you're going to refer to it, it needs to be available before you actually hit the record button. You shouldn't have to go and search for it, and you really don't even want to pause the video to go get it. It really does disturb the continuity. It can disturb the level of your voice. It can disturb a lot of things if you have to stop your presentation in order to retrieve something that should be readily available right in front of you. Now, screencast videos work best when you already have some knowledge or expertise, and that it goes without saying. If you're going to be presenting something, even if you're presenting something that you're using the private label rights in order to present, you should have some knowledge. You shouldn't be reading it for the first time if you're going to do a video that's actually going to be interesting enough for people to listen to. You don't want to read anything. If you read from a PowerPoint, if you read from a Word document, it's going to sound like it. And so you always want to have some knowledge of the subject matter so that if you have to stop reading or if you have to stop referring and you actually have to give an anecdote, you actually have to talk or tell a story, you are going to be able to make it interesting for your audience, for your viewers. Open up the tabs on your browser ahead of time in sequence. You want to think through your presentation. So don't get to your presentation and have to open up tabs and open up browsers. The time that you think it takes as a video creator is a lot longer to the person experiencing it. You don't want to spend your time on camera opening tabs, looking for things in your browser. These things should already be ready. They should already be in sequence. And this is especially true when you're looking at programs like Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer. These give you the opportunity to set up tabs ahead of time. You should have already thought through your presentation before you actually hit the record button. And this has been said in many different instances. You don't want to linger on any screen too long. So if you're screencasting, don't leave your screen up very long. Now, obviously, sometimes you're going to have to violate this principle, but Hollywood actually changes screens every 8 seconds for a reason. That's because our attention span is just short as human beings. And this could also have to do with the modern day. So you want to make sure that if you can, you want to switch something on your screen for a minimum of every 8 seconds. And if you keep some action going of any kind, we talked about using the markers, viewers will not be quick to lose interest. Again, this has been discussed before, but don't create videos with 2 or 3 subjects. You show people things one at a time. You talk about one subject at a time. Even if the video is very short, it's better if you have one subject in one video rather than 3 subjects in one short video or one medium length video. You want people to be able to look at the title of the video and know exactly what they're about to get and then decide to click on it and watch it. What you don't want is for you to have to make a title that's so very long that people don't know exactly what you're saying, or for them to click on a video and actually think they're getting something and then they get a lot more or less than what they really thought the video was going to be about. Always assume your viewer knows nothing. Break down your video into bite-sized chunks. Again, short videos, one concept at a time. You don't want to try to do something really complex unless you're really breaking down the steps. And if so, try to keep your steps in separate videos. If you are going to add in title clips and music, you want to select them before you start the project. Again, that goes without saying. And if you're recording multiple videos, it's important to make sure that your content is uniform. So in other words, you are doing a series of 10 videos, then you want to do everything you can to make sure that your voice is uniform, the PowerPoints are uniform, everything that you're doing should look similar to all the other videos in the series. That's pretty important to do. And this is probably the same. You want to try to avoid using different styles inside of one video. If you're going to do screen sharing, try to stick to screen sharing. If you're going to do animated, try to stick to animated. Don't do a lot of different styles in one video. Again, it's disorienting for the actual viewer, and it can be confusing. And even though it might keep their attention, it might not get your point to where you actually want it to be. Now, why is all this important? And we've actually hinted at this, because to do something like this, and this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to type on your screencast video and go looking for websites. You don't want to search for information. This is disorienting, and it's an invitation for people to tune out of your video. All of the typing that you can do ahead of time, you want to do it ahead of time. You don't want to type on your video. And if you must do it, if you must type, even after you have set things ahead of time, you pause the video, then type. This is an important distinction to make. So again, you pause the video, then type, do your typing, write in the information you want, and then come back to the video, because that really holds your viewers' attention. It makes your videos concise, and it also gives them the opportunity to connect with your information. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.